Hello, beings of light in your sovereign temples. Casey Christine here, and I want to talk to you about the vicious cycle of craving and really what I believe the foundation for every single addiction and the need for always wanting more or the desire always for more. Now, I am not talking about expanding into more, which is an aspect of the divine expansion. I am talking about having a need and craving for more and always feeling like we're missing something. And in the book, The Power of Intention, I'll never forget how that really opened my eyes to what can happen when one person decides to really come back into alignment with their most blissful self. And it's why I think a lot of people turn to substances is because they're looking for the substance of source. They're looking for a artificial high, which can, yes, let us know what a high can feel like, but there's no substitute for the real thing. To get high on source consciousness and let it pour through you to as much as you can, drink as much as you can, smoke as much as you can, right? And I just really wanted to, as a lot of my meditations and communions are around allowing our frequency to transcend the survival paradigms that we have become comfortable in, believe it or not. It's a trick. It's like this relationship with this paradigm that you're in, but it's the trickster of comfort. And we stay in this relationship because it's familiar, even though there's suffering, even though there can be abuse, physical, mental. We're literally choosing these survival paradigms because they're familiar, so it feels safest. We can actually feel safe in our suffering. And the power of intention and understanding. Wayne Dyer used Dr. David Hawkins' research from Power versus Force around calibrating our frequency. And so I wanted to put this together, especially anyone who ever feels like they're always longing for something and they always have a craving, and to make sure that we understand the difference between expansion and always wanting more. It is in the wanting for more or for something different that actually causes our suffering versus allowing what is and then being willing for expansion to come in, and for that expansion to be of divine will expansion versus us manipulating and controlling it to get the thing that we want more of because we think that that will actually give us peace and happiness. And so I'm putting up this chart and I just want us to really look at it. I put it up very briefly in the inner communion, or I'm sorry, the inner knower meditation series that I've been doing in the very rare book, The Inner Knower. Very expensive, but I'm blessed to have a copy, and they're profound meditations. But I want to just focus on this chart versus the one out of there so that you can really begin to understand. In psychoacoustics, we use language and like linear concepts of understanding to then assist us when we go into then meditations. And that is why I'm so committed to the psychoacoustic aspect, with using images, certain frequencies, now really allowing me to, take a little bit more time in explaining things too up front to help anyone in that linear and logical side. So be looking at this chart and see that craving that you feel like you can never satisfy because it always needs to be more. So you're always dissatisfied, always craving, not satisfied with exactly where you are. Because it is when we get present in the present moment and we're willing for grace and divine intervention and to call upon making a choice. Is the ultimate free will, is having the free will to make a choice to choose in the present moment only thought patterns, actions, surrender, willingness. Just look at what happens when you go from craving to being willing for something. You're willing for a shift to happen. You're willing to be intentional. Don't discount the choice to become willing in a present moment, but really allow yourself to get to know this chart so that you can become a good steward. And the only reason I can speak on this is because I have been through intense cravings, addictions, suffering, guilt, shame, still moving through it. But I know that understanding this chart to identify when I am feeling a certain way, to be willing to use my friends in high places, ascended masters, and to surrender to what is in the moment versus trying to manipulate or control or, stay on a pattern of judgment and crucifixion of myself. That guilt and shame. Ooh-wee. The trickster of comfort loves that. But I will have some meditations linked for the craving cycle to really call upon our higher selves to assist us, as it is this craving that leads to addictions, and not just addictions to substances, but addiction to keeping yourself in the cycle or to keep choosing the thing that you're craving, because in that moment it feels better than like the lower frequency, but it is tricking us in this cycle. And so that's my great prayer, to have a beautiful communion with you guys and meditation around the craving cycle. And this chart, if you've looked at it, will greatly assist you really with any meditations that we're ever doing, or if we just have a great prayer to live in our highest potential. So in this book right here, The Power of Intention, if you're not sure where to start with experiencing more peace, I invite you to be willing to listen to or read The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It has the potential to assist you with realigning yourself with your old self, capital S. And that is how the wars end in this world, is when we end them within us and we become reminded that everything that we think we need more of out there, it's actually already in here that we can resource. And it'll be more than we ever even thought anyway, the irony. I hope anyone who feels they are struggling gifts themselves with the power of intention and truly seeding this chart and coming back to it again and again for assisting themselves on understanding the power of being willing to shift your paradigm from the hell on earth that the Matrix wants us to stay in to the heaven on earth that is possible for all of those who are willing for it to be possible. All my love and light. Namaste.